See if I can do this without standing in front of it. I'm going to do it over here. Can everybody hear me in the back? Karen, can you hear me? Awesome. So one of my favorite phrases is spend more time looking in the windshield than the rearview mirror. There's nothing in the rearview mirror that's going to tell us where we're going. It's going to tell us where we've been. But I'm going to spend a little bit of time today talking about where I've been so you get to know me a little bit. So let's start. Who am I? I'm a father. I'm a husband, 22 years. I'm a father, 5 kids. I'm also a grandfather, and I've got to look to my wife to figure out how many. I think we're at 8 or 9 or 10. I don't know. It's a detail. Right? We were lucky enough this last year, not very good picture, but that's actually our first great-granddaughter. So a year old. And for those that are wondering, yes, I did start young. So, right? And so did all of my kids. So where have I been? Well, I've spent 30 years in the fire and emergency services, started right here in Colorado Springs, south of town, Security Fire Department. Started as a volunteer. Started really my community service and giving back to people. Progressed to Wyoming. I was a deputy state fire marshal there in Wyoming, fire prevention. I moved back to Colorado Springs. I've left 3 times, moved back. There's got to be something that's telling me that this city, right? Served for many years at Fort Carson. What was nice about Fort Carson is, and I say this in a way that it was an easy job because I got to ride backwards on the truck and serve. I wasn't a leader. Talk a little bit about a leadership journey, but some things that happened to me that said I didn't want to be a leader. Anybody in here have those? Right? Those step into leadership and go, oh my God, that's not what I want. And then I ended my career right here with the El Paso County Sheriff's Office Wildland Fire Crew. I retired as a fire chief there. And I'll tell you, that was probably one of my most satisfying, fulfilling roles in the fire service, was to work with a group of volunteers that were looking to serve the community and give back. And we built an amazing organization of those folks at the time I retired. Now, for 13 years, I also served on a national incident management team, the Rocky Mountain Type 1 team. Highest level of incident management. Waldo Canyon Fire, Black Forest Fire were managed by a Type 1 team. My role, well, let me step back. I responded to some amazing incidents here in Colorado Springs. This was the United Flight 585, March of 92 in Widefield. Anybody remember that? Right? Where, they put 65 feet of airplane, 165 feet of airplane into a 25-foot hole, right? Well, our crash truck was the first one on the scene. I also responded, second mutual aid engine in to the Cliff House fire in 1992, historic fire in this area. I was also the operations section chief in 2008 on a little fire called TA-25 south of town on Fort Carson. Started as 5 acres, turned into well over 19,000. Again, another defining place in my leadership development is I never thought I'd make a decision that killed somebody. We lost an aircraft on that fire. We killed a pilot. And now, was I responsible for that? No. But I took it for many years as a leader, and actually that's pretty much when I ended my fire service career, was on that decision as I look back at it. I moved into wildland fire at Fort Carson and really understood that I loved that piece of it because it was more about what we could do for the environment, for different things than just responding to, right? They don't call a firefighter when the barbecue's going right? You know what I'm saying? Anybody, right? So it was more than that. And what I did was I served, and this picture, not really good in this light, but this is a fire in Utah. I served as an incident management team as a liaison officer, and this was a group of individuals. This fire was on tribal land, 25 organizations that were responsible for fire and incident management in that county, and none of them talked to each other on a daily basis. So when the yogurt hit the fan, it killed 3 white civilians on tribal land. Guess what happened? Everybody was in charge. How did that work out? My job was to bring these folks to the table and figure out an outcome for this. I joked about sometimes during my career that I wish they gave me a striped shirt and a whistle, because sometimes I did feel like a referee in those incidents. Now, what I really loved was that I've got to, wow, what I really loved, because this is, that made my transition to wildland fire, come on, was that I figured out that I actually got to set them instead of put them out, which was kind of interesting. Wow, he's already given me the 1 minute. All right, the other thing we also do was we responded to man. This is Hurricane Katrina. Our team was the first team in downtown. The water had not receded yet. Our job was to feed and house the emergency workers downtown. I've worked with governors, I've worked with presidents, I've worked with all kinds of really high-level officials. Now, the nice part about it throughout this, I've always also been an entrepreneur. This is a company my wife and I own called Flamefront Fire Resources. And what we did is we took our experience, our knowledge in firefighting, and we trained skills. We trained in leadership, we trained in team building. We were really able to take and teach kids, and I say that in a way, to survive on the fire line through leadership. Now, you look at that and say, so what? Well, that is... Okay. Wow. Damn, it's different on this side of the road, right? I want Frank's job back. Yes, sir.
Would you mind finishing your question? My second question is, what are you doing now?
So, the nice part that this has allowed me to do is really see people at the best and their worst in their lives. It's allowed me to learn how to connect and understand people. The success really is all about understanding you, understanding others, and then learning how to adapt. It's also allowed me to see the potential in others. It's also allowed me the ability to raise the awareness of people's potential and then be the guide on their journey. And so my purpose, through my authentic passion and encouragement, I create and raise the awareness of those in the world to visualize and achieve their next level of greatness. What I do is I work with successful people to take you to the next level of your greatness, whether that's an organization. What we're doing with the new Kittridge Connection is basically focus point coaching, ignite your life program, ignite your business, focus point leadership, and then we have also teamed with, because I believe in collaboration, some of the leaders in the industry, John Maxwell, Paul Martinelli, Ron Price, Global Priorities, which is an amazing organization, and then TTI Success Insight. Now, any questions?